Alrighty guys, we're back for some mono white humans, and this is a Wilds of Eldraine standard brew. We're gonna go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, for anyone who may not know, I'm Red Cat and I play aggro decks and any decks with red in them as well, so I hope that sounds fun to ya. Also, we do got that Discord link as well as that Patreon link down in the description if you're interested in joining either of those up. Okay, what do we got packed into the build here? First of all, this was a Discord suggestion, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. Hopefully, I put humans together well enough for you. So a bunch of humans in here that we get to see all the time, so it's not gonna take too long to go over the list, but I did pack a couple humans that I've been meaning to play with again for a while, and we don't get to see these too often. Chaplain of Alms is a 1-mana 1/1 first strike ward 1. Beautiful. Has a disturb cost for 3 and a white, comes back as Chapel Shieldgeist. It's a 2/1 flying first strike. Each creature you control has ward 1. Nice, dude. And of course, if Chapel Shieldgeist would be put into the graveyard from anywhere, you exile it instead. Yeah, man, I don't know why I haven't revisited this card anytime recently, and we never want to underestimate that first strike when we have so many great ways in here to actually buff this up too. Like, we know how powerful it actually is to buff up a first strike creature like Thalia. So yeah, speaking of Thalia, we have all 4 of them in here. It's going to slow down the opponents way more than it slows us down. Why? Well, we have 36 total creatures and nothing else except for land in here, so yeah, all 4 Thalia, even though it's legendary, it's going to be pretty essential. We especially want to slow down the opponent's board wipes because I'm not too concerned about spot removal for this deck, man. It's going to be pretty hard for the opponents to actually spot remove stuff, especially when we also have Coppercoat Vanguard as a 4 of course, right? So 2 mana 2/2, each other human you control gets +1/+0 and has ward 1. Yep. Nice, good stuff, man. Also, like protection with Skrelv. I have a couple Skrelv in here. It's not human, but it's going to be pretty essential to protect things like the Coppercoat Vanguard. If you're already protecting everything else anyways, and they have to like target Vanguard first, if you have Skrelv, well now they kind of have to target Skrelv first. So yeah, like I said, spot removal, I'm not too concerned about it for this deck. And we also have more cards here, kind of sort of on the top end. Gavony Dawnguard. It's a 3-mana 3/3 with ward 1. It's neither day nor night. It becomes day as Gavony Dawnguard enters the battlefield, and whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, you look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card with mana value 3 or less from among them, which is almost all of our creatures, from among them, and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, so a great way to help keep our hand nice and stocked up, man. Again, another card that I've been meaning to revisit. I think it kind of just looks terrific, doesn't it? So on the actual top end of the build, we have Knight-Errant of Eos as a 3/of. It's a 5-mana 4/4 with Convoke, so our creatures can help cast this out. When at ETBs, you look at the top 6 cards of your library, which is much more than the 4 from the Dawnguard. You may reveal up to 2 creature cards with mana value X or less from among them, where X is the number of creatures that convoked Knight-Errant of Eos. So usually you'd like to convoke this down for 3. That way you can pretty much pick up any creature in here, right? Except for the Knight-Errants. So you put the revealed cards into your hand, then shuffle. Yep, dude, just keeping our hand nice and stocked is gonna be essential. So what other humans do we got packed in here? We have a couple Hopeful Initiates here at the front of the build. So 1 mana, a 2/1, or sorry, 1/2, that's important, with training. And for 2 and a white, you can remove 2 +1/+1 counters from among creatures you control. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. So that could potentially help us out, right? The training on this happens to be a pretty decent overall. We have a couple Intrepid Adversaries helping us buff a nice wide board state, could go a long way. You could kind of think of this as a 4-mana creature, but there's going to be plenty of moments where you actually just play this down as a 2-mana 3/1 with a lifelink, and the lifelink goes a long way too, doesn't it? Sometimes you can think of it as a 6-mana creature too, right? And just buff the board state a couple extra times as well. So we also have Spellbook Vendor in here. It's a 2-mana, a 2/2, Rock and Vigilance. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 1. When you do, create a sorcerer role token attached to target creature you control. That sorcerer role token, the enchanted creature gets +1/+1, and whenever this creature attacks you, scry 1. Never underestimate the power of scrying in an aggro build, let me tell you what. And of course, the scrying can really help us find stuff off of like Dawnguard and the Knight-Errant as well, right? Get those land off the top of the deck, so that way we can peer even deeper. Sounds good to me, dude. Also putting like the auras onto our ward creatures like Chaplain, and again, like never underestimate that first strike, dude. It goes a very long way. Yeah, overall, Vendor can really stack up our board. 3 mana cards. More removal with, or our only removal is Brutal Cathar, and then I'll say more removal with Seed of the Empire over here in the mana base, right? That's why we have 2 Seed of the Empires, and then there's enough legendaries in here to actually make this channel ability cost pretty cheap, huh? So yeah, all 4 Brutal Cathars going to be pretty good in a deck like this that knows how to give ward to our other creatures, like off of Vanguard or even the Chapel Shieldgeist, right? I have a Loran of the Third Path here. I'm running into a lot of enchantments and a lot of artifacts that I need to just delete off the board, man. A lot of ossifications, a lot of like wedding announcements and stuff like that. We're still running into a lot of Selesnya enchantments like in general, so there's just a lot to hit in a deck like that. Happens to be a human. Vigilance happens to work well against cards like Wandering Emperor, right? So also legendary, so it does work with the double Seed of the Empire over here. More legendaries, huh? So Adeline, we got 3 of them in here. Maybe we even want 4 of these because it's going to be absolutely terrific because, of course, it generates humans as you swing in. You don't even have to swing with Adeline. You can just swing with something else and get that human going. The fact that this, I mean, yeah, no, we don't have to justify Adeline at all, huh? It is a very powerful creature. And that's everything already, huh? So got some honorable mentions over here. I thought about a recruitment officer for this build. Didn't make the cut this time, but being a 2/1 kind of sort of works well because of cards like Hopeful Initiate with the training and whatnot. So if you have Hopeful Initiate and Chaplain down and you're swinging in, you're not actually getting the training on the Hopeful Initiate, where if it was Recruitment Officer instead, then of course you're getting that +1 on the Initiate. I don't think that's going to be as important as just having a First Strike Ward 1 that we're buffing constantly, so... honorable mentions for a reason though, right? Resolute Reinforcements almost made the cut. The token that it generates, unfortunately, isn't a human, it's just a soldier. Even so, going wide with something like this when we have cards like Knight-Errant and Intrepid Adversary to buff the board state, yeah, like I always say, right? Honorable mentions for a reason. And I think we have enough taxing for our poor opponents to where we don't need Peacekeeper, but who knows? We might actually still need Peacekeeper depending on how many board wipes we actually run into today. So, yep, honorable mentions for a reason. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, right? All right, guys, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game here. Heck yeah, we do. All right, so what am I expecting from the deck list here? I'm expecting a lot, dude. And hopefully it lives up to my expectations. But I do think it's going to be pretty good, so we'll see. Good hand. Hopeful Initiate comes down. Thalia next turn for sure. I'm going to get rid of a Plains. We have 24 in here. I think that's fine. Seed of the Empire. Nice. Yep, Thalia's going to come down. We potentially would have wanted to swing there first. Just good practice. But the opponent was tapped out anyways. And it depends too. I guess, yeah, getting Thalia down could, like, tax a cut down, but then they would just play that on the stack anyways, so. If we go Knight-Errant for 2, that's not bad. Thalia hopefully is stopping a Go for the Throat from happening. I think a swing here is a little better, and we'll get Intrepid Adversary down for the turn. And then potentially play Knight-Errant out a little bit beefier. Or if we see a land off the top, second Intrepid Adversary would be excellent. Yeah, 3 mana Go for the Throat on like a Thalia. It's possible. Oh, they're going to go Hopeless Nightmare. So like land off a top for that Adversary would be so disgusting, dude. Yeah, this is the perfect deck to showcase just the overwhelming power level of Thalia, huh? 2, 3, 4. I think it's just a full swing again, guys. Yeah, it's just a full swing again. I was gonna say like Knight-Errant would be good, but I'm just going wide. A board wipe, yeah, GG, opponent, GG. A board wipe that would get around this board state would be Path of Peril, right? I believe that's the card name, because they could play a mana and then pay the extra cost for Thalia. but I didn't want to play nothing there. And if it was a 4-mana Path of Peril, yeah, we would have been in trouble, dude. But we don't get to see that card too often. And outside of that, if it was like a Depopulate, they wouldn't have been able to play it because of the Thalia. Well, GG. We did the human thing. We went a little bit fast there and we taxed them. So we know humans love their taxes. So all right into the next game. What you bringing to the table, buddy? Woo! Oh my goodness, is this good? This is good, right? I think this is pretty good, man. Going first is huge as well. Yeah, we'll start with Thalia, and then just every turn after that, we'll just slam a Vanguard down. That's pretty gross, man. Loran, okay. Yeah, Vanguard next turn over Loran, unless there's something terrific that we want to pick up with this. Mischievous Catgeist, huh? Okay, something fun from the opponent over there. Go ahead and start buffing the Thalia. And then next turn we double down on Vanguard if we see a Plains off the top, which would be wild, man. Fading Hope for 2, okay. Yeah, Plains off the top would be pretty good. Get that card draw from the Catgeist, sweet. Okay, there's the Plains off the top. Okay. Okay, well. Swing for 4. Get 2 Vanguards down, and then the 3rd Vanguard can come down next turn, too. And depending on what we draw, though, we might do something different. Yeah, GG opponent, man. That's rough. That's tough business, dude. I would have loved to see more of the opponent's deck there, for sure. Also, hopefully we get to see some of my more fun additions to this human list, right? I mean, I'm sure we will. We have all 4 on the front of the build with the chaplains. And we have 3 in the middle with the Gavony Dawnguards. Yeah, we'll see them. We'll see them today. The real question is, are we going to get to see them do a thing? You know what I mean? Okay, we go first. Yep, it's a fine hand, dude. It's good. It's drawing really nicely so far. Just like overall, too. Spar's headquarters, okay. So it's Thalia. It's always Thalia on turn 2 if you can. Because, like, spot removal is just a little bit too much everywhere all the time. So slowing that down for a couple turns is huge. Wow, dude. Our draws have been huge. I'm actually doing this before combat, too. Just in case you never know, they have 1 open. They'd have to pay the Thalia tax and the ward, so I guess it really didn't matter because they would have had to pay the Thalia. Sunset Revelry, okay. Double block that Vanguard quite effectively, huh? Which is what we want to prevent from happening, so we go Vendor. There's our Chaplain, by the way. A1 onto Vanguard. Full swing. Brutal Cathar, huh? What do you guys think? I'm going to send it. I don't think we need that. We have a Cathar in hand, and I'm not convinced right now that we're going to be picking up too many tokens. Maybe I'll regret that, right? Down to 14, and a board wipe is definitely like something the opponent needs, but they didn't have much ramp, so yeah. GG opponent. See, again, if it was like to populate, they would have had to pay for Thalia, so they would have needed 5, and this is probably a Sunfall style deck, so they would need the 6 mana, and that's where the ramp would have really come in handy. But we had so much damage on this board state, Vendor could just buff like the Thalia again. Dang, I didn't get a chance to play with the Chaplain. That would have been a great one to play out early, though, I would say. And Chaplain's gonna, like, with that first strike, the Chaplain's gonna be a little bit better to go up against, like, certain creature matchups, right? Like, going up against soldiers or mono red, for example, it's gonna be a little bit better because it'll successfully swing in without worrying about trades. Whereas the card that trains is a little better when we're just smack in the face, that little bit of extra damage poking through with the counters and whatnot. So it just happened to work out in our favor that time round. Okay, we go first. Wow. It's pretty lucky going first again. Okay, I think we keep this, dude. I can't see anything wrong with it. And you know what? We're going to go right into that Chaplain. Ward 1 is terrific. Also, the opponent's name is Red Player, so no burn for the Chaplain, right? With that Ward 1 on the first turn, of course. I mean, swing for 1. Thalia. Axe the rest of their potential burn, right? Yeah, having a couple turns free of like, yeah, like go for the throat won't work right now. A cut down on Thalia is very possible, I suppose. How likely are board wipes? We should be a little bit afraid of like a potential Brotherhood's End or something. So we're gonna go Vendor, auto pay, and we're gonna go on to, I think Thalia has enough of a target, right? I actually like the Vendor. I would like to see more mana, but I actually like the second Vendor. For some reason, like, it's just like a gut feeling like I should keep that for some reason. Third mana, yeah, Brotherhood's End would be, well, they'd still have to tax it, so. Okay, Thalia number 2 is coming down for the turn then. Because, yeah, if they do have 4 mana, though, I don't know. Auto pay. Extra scries can be insane, huh? Brutal Cathar. I just don't know. I guess I'll keep it. I guess I'll keep it on top. We don't know what we're up against yet, but there's probably going to be something that we wouldn't mind grabbing from the opponent's side, and the rest of our hand's pretty good too right now, so. Virtue on the Vendor. They paid 3 for that. They're back up to 14, unfortunately. Yeah, Vendor number 2, buff the Thalia. We're still kind of, sort of, I don't want to spam too much on this board state is the thing. So kind of, sort of playing around a board wipe for a few turns here. Wow, yeah, we'll keep that. Literally just been keeping everything because the lineups have been great. Down to 9. They only gained 4 life so far, so if they didn't gain anything, they'd still be at 5, so. Sheoldred. Menace. I guess Chaplain? How are we feeling about that? How are we feeling? Because we can eventually bring it back. Either way, we had to choose something. Cathar picks up Sheoldred, but if they ping the Cathar, then we lose another creature. So I'd rather try our dandiest to establish something here with Coppercoat first. Chaplain number 2. Actually, it'll be Initiate now. And then we'll have the Cathar for next turn. No swings. That 4/5 holds us up for the turn, guys, which should be very scary for us. Because now we're getting into the territory that the opponent likes to be in. Imodane's Recruiter. Whoa. That's not what I was expecting from this at all, dude. Wait, do they have... They don't have a white source on this board. Imodane's Recruiter. Cool. Doubling down on those, but yeah, they have to keep blockers back, unfortunately. But now that we have, like, the extra ward tax, another Chaplain, mana would have been decent. So if we go Cathar on Sheoldred, probably that, right? So we can start swinging successfully. Swing, 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 keep Vanguard back. Hopefully not running into a board wipe here. Do I keep this? Dang, dude, I don't know. Yeah, I think so. I wanted the 4th mana. Okay, block there. And they would have had a block into the Vanguard too. Wait a minute. Yeah. They would have had, yeah, okay. Okay, I tricked myself there for a second. Yeah, they would have had the block into the Vanguard, so we would have lost the ward on all of our other creatures, which we kind of sort of want. They're taxed by Thalia, taxed by ward, so it's going to be much harder for them to get the Sheoldred back. Yeah, no blocks. I think the opponent may have fizzled out over there, guys. They still have 4 mana, though. Could be a board wipe. It is a board wipe. Oh. Oh, crap, guys. Oh, crap. That's really bad. That's really, really bad. That explains the swing. Can the Chapel Shieldgeist get us there? They still have 2 cards in hand. So early on, yeah, we were talking about like that Brotherhood's End, but yeah, they oh. That kills the Shieldgeist. We still have 2 more Chaplains in hand. Are we going to be able to get that last 2 through? Oh, board wipes are so brutal. Planes. Okay, we spam these out. We gotta find something terrific, and now we really don't want a planes. Something's still holding us. Probably the Bitter Reunion. Interesting deck opponent. It looks like they're, with the Bitter Reunion and the Emodane's Recruiter, looks like they're doing their best to give creatures haste, so maybe they have more in here that spams creatures onto the board, right? It doesn't look like they're too worried about the adventure side here with the white for the trained troops, so my guess is treasures. They have treasure tokens to potentially go for the sorcery side. So some stuff that could win us the game off the top, if the opponent doesn't interact, of course, would be like Coppercoat Vanguard off the 2 Chaplains and then full swing. Opponent still has 3 mana available. This is going to flip into a dragon next turn. They could easily give it haste with the Bitter Reunion too. And being at 12 here, I mean, the opponent's at 2. If they don't have... Okay, they had to save 1 back. Planes! They dropped the good game. I don't have it yet, opponent. I don't have it yet, unfortunately. But I'm doing my dandiest. So they're forced to block there, so we bring back the Chapel Shieldgeist. We're at 12. Dragon flips. They give it haste. We're not dead yet. Their top deck really matters. What a match, dude. Cool deck, opponent. Very cool build. Yeah, they have Dragon to block in the air now. Virtue of Persistence comes down. This is no longer a human, too, so... Gavony Dawnguard. What are they going to be grabbing from the grave here? I guess, like, Recruiter? They can grab stuff from mine, too, right? Target creature card from a graveyard. Oh, buddy. We are in trouble, man. That Brotherhood's End. So Gavony and the Chaplain both have a ward of 2, kind of, sort of. They both have 2 instances of ward 1, but the opponent has more than enough mana. And that flying blocker is brutal. Okay, we just have to go no attacks, and we kind of like sit here and watch the opponent overwhelm us now. Well, they found a cut down, but oh, they can pay the treasure. Oh, Shieldgeist is out of the equation. I wonder if Dawnguard can find us enough creatures off the top. Oh man, this really could have gone either way, huh? I wonder if there was a better way to play it out early, where if I would have been a little bit more aggressive, there's a possibility that they had this Brotherhood's End the whole time, though, and they were saving it for the right moment. You know what I mean? Okay, they took our Dawnguard with our Brutal Cathar, so that's probably game, especially depending on what they drew, they can start swinging too. Oh, and then they can... That's game. Bitter Reunion, give haste, swing for 12. Dude. Well, let's see if they do it first, right? Yeah, Bitter Reunion haste ends this. Right? Oh, was I wrong? No, they have 10 on the board. I'm being silly, guys. I'm being silly. I just counted wrong there. Adeline, that would have been huge early on. I guess Adeline from hand, right? I suppose. Either creature, the Menace gets by on Shieldred and the Dragon gets by on Flying. So I guess the Chaplain, the Chapel Shieldgeist would have been the bet, right? But it doesn't really matter because Virtue of Persistence can pick up anything they need, right? I guess. From ours, Spellbook Vendor would be a good grab, maybe. Or the Emodane's Recruiter. Give everything the +1, +0, and haste for the turn, too. They gain off the food, back up to 4. That's right, they were just chilling over there? Oh, no, they just got it with the Witch's Vanity. The other thing was a treasure. That's what they had earlier, and they already spent that. Oh, we're letting them play this out, guys, for sure. Always feel free to skip ahead to the next match. I do have timestamps down in the description, and at the bottom of the video, there's like these little chapters or whatever that show you what games are coming up next. Or when the next games are, right? Yeah, the Vendor was a good grab, I would say. If we went Chaplain, then we could have blocked that Cathar a little bit more effectively, right? Yeah, good game, opponent. Let's just block there. Even if we block the Shieldred, we'd be taking 9. That was tough, man. That was a great comeback from the opponent. And that little bit of life gain from the Virtues early on actually did a tremendous job at holding them into that mid game, or pulling them into that mid game that they wanted to be in too. So, yeah. I'd say, I still say that could have gone either way though, for sure. And maybe when I go back and watch that match, I'll find like a way that I could have been more aggressive early on, but again, we never know what's in the opponent's hand. Nice, good hand, dude. I like this. I like how the deck is drawing so far. Strong beautifully and giving us like really just simple, clean lines of play. Like if we don't use that Cathar, then these Spellbook Vendors can start buffing this Chaplain. Another Spellbook Vendor. I guess there's a good chance that... Well, let's see if it's a cut down for 2. Yeah, cards like Chaplain, not the greatest target for a cut down. We can eventually bring it back for Disturb. Oh, nice. It landed. So go for the throat. Number 1. Vendor... Oh, that's a cut down. Okay, yeah, they didn't want to target the Chaplain. Like I said, not the greatest target for that. Not right away, at least. Okay, 3 mana open from the opponent. I guess it's Vendor. And see if we can successfully get the pay 1 on this. I think that's better than just going Vanguard for the turn. Either way, both can get picked up by like another cut down, so... Let's find out. We get that Scry, beautiful. Oh, is this the build we need the Adversary? We do have 4 already. I don't know how that's going to work out for us, guys. But I also don't want to send that. I think we're going to keep it. Yeah, I don't know. If this is Esper Control, like, sure, we want to go fast with Adversary, but we have 4 Thalias in here that would really like to be on this board too, so I don't know. Yeah, Adversary is probably keepable on top. Path of Peril. Wow, we just got done saying we don't get to see it too often. There it is, guys. Path of Peril. All right, we're going to start by restocking this then. Going to go Vendor. Vanguard. That one plane's not doing too much there. Then we're going to attempt that Adversary next turn. A lot of variety in Standard recently, right? Like, sure, we have, like, the decks that we see all the time. Okay, 5 open. Gotta think, like, Wandering Emperor still exists, right? Could be a Wandering Emperor and, like, a cut down, too. Just something brutal like that. Maybe it's Chaplain. Ward to our creatures. If they end up going make disappear, they only have 3, which means we can swing in successfully, potentially, like not worrying about Wandering Emperor. If they have 3, though, we could still think it's like a Seat of the Empire or something with the swing, so maybe we'd hold Vanguard back. Okay, Ward 1. Ward 1 times 2. So if we swing, they do have enough to pay that Ward 1 for the Vanguard for the Wandering Emperor when it comes time. So we might not swing with Vanguard. We might just swing with Vendor. Oh, okay. They pay the Ward 1. What's this doing? Returning it to my hand. Oh, that's nice. Thank you, opponent. Going for that swing, too. Only 2 planes there. Down to 8. Opponent needs, like, another board wipe. I don't know if a couple pieces of... Okay, they found another board wipe. Okay. I was gonna say, I don't know if a couple pieces of spot removal is gonna be enough there. Thalia, a little bit late to the party, but better late than never, for sure. Because now maybe we'll be able to play around... No, we won't, actually. We won't. Luckily, they can transform that next turn. But Brutal Cathar picks it up pretty easily. Okay, guys, we're in trouble if they keep drawing board wipes, so... We'll see. Yeah, that Thalia early on. That's why we have 4 of them, even though it's legendary, right? Like, it's essential to stop these board wipes from happening. Still have 2 mana open for the Incubator. Looks like they're going to wait. So if we go Adeline, buff Vendor, it's 1 seat there. Adeline's a great draw, dude. Really, really good. Although Adversary could have been good too. I just want to reestablish a wide board state is the thing. And that's a great way to do it. Right, on to Vendor. Thalia already has a huge target on its back. Swing for 5, generate a 1/1. They can power this up, they can chomp, or they can block the 1/1 and take 5. Which bringing them down to 2. I'm going to keep the Chaplain on top, guys. I think it's actually, that's pretty good. Because if they do end up killing these, then we have that chance for Disturb. Although Sunfall exiles, but At the Peril does not. Okay, they go for the Chomp down to 4. So that 1/1's probably on the chopping block anyways from a board wipe then, right? They have 7 mana total. So it'll be really easy to pay the extra 1 for the Thalia. Oh, cut down for 2. They have 5 available. If it was Sunfall, you'd think it would have just been that instead of the cut down. Vraska's Fall. Sacrifice. I sacrificed the 1/1. Yeah, GG opponent. GG. We were still able to outpace a couple board wipes, guys. That is beautiful stuff, man. And again, just a little bit of... Yeah, better late than never. Like I said, the Thalia helps out a ton when it comes time for those spot removals to start pinging our creatures and stuff. This deck seems to know how to hold up against spot removal heavy decks. Let's keep going, dude. I'm having a blast. Seems super solid so far. I really want to see Gavony Dawnguard do something today, though, too. I think the Chaplain's doing a thing. I do. Even though it's not doing too much, I guess, in total, I still think it's doing a thing. Even when it's just out there with the Ward 1. Totally fine, man. It does slow down certain plays in certain decks. We go first. I think this is fine. We got the Gavony Dawnguard too. Yeah, 3 mana, a whole bunch of stuff to draw into as well. Yeah, no, this hand is better than fine. Well, that would have been good on turn 1, huh? But that's okay. Vendor is down and established, and we probably go right into Dawnguard next turn. Although we could go Adversary Chaplain. Angle for the Vendor. Alright, yeah. Ooh. Ooh. That changes things. That definitely changes things. Thalia, Chaplain, a little bit better here. Worst comes to worst, we can go Knight-Errant for the 2 creatures too. Grab a couple 2-drops or something to hand. Adeline. Wow, okay. Well, now it's Adeline, dude. Yeah, these draws, man. Nice. It's getting through. It's getting through, guys. Can we see that adversary buff this board? Hopefully Thalia's taxing enough here. Okay, nothing from the opponent. Yeah, we're going adversary. 4 open. 4 open. Spot removal for... What do they want? I guess spot removal for the adversary. Yeah, we still try it. We still try it. It's still a really good swing, even if they do spot remove this adversary. Attempting the swing. Union of the third path. Ooh, that gains them a ton. Yeah, they had to pay 4 for it, though. Down to 6. Can Thalia prevent a board wipe this turn? If it's a Brotherhood's End, no, it cannot. But Adeline gets around to Brotherhood's End. If it is a burn down the house, yes. Thalia gets around. Dude, GG. GG, man. Woo! The importance of Thalia, like, it's... like, we know how important Thalia is in decks like this, right? But, like, there's no way to express that enough. You know what I mean? Like, it is essential half the time to have Thalia on the board state to slow down these opponents, you know? 36 minutes in, guys. Let's go. One more match. Win or lose, 100% satisfied with this build. I do like the 2 additions of the humans that I've been meaning to play with more. Unfortunately, haven't gotten to see Gavony Dawnguard do like anything yet, but I still like it. And if we don't get to see it do anything in this last game, then that could be like one of the cards that you could trade out for some of your own favorite humans, right? So, opponent goes first. This might actually be the worst hand of the evening. So let's push the deck to its limits and see if we can pull this off. Oh, crap. Well, against mono red, we probably wanted to mulligan this hand away. You never know. Life gain with the adversary. It might have a chance of surviving now that Skrelv is on the board. 2 mana. Adversary. They play their adversary. Now we're going to play our adversary. Yeah, more mana isn't terrific, but at least we have a better chance of getting the Knight-Errant down, right? No attacks. We have a problem, though. They have great attackers. Even with protection from Skrelv, and taking 2 damage is not something we want to do here, man. But Knight-Errant is a great blocker. As a 4/4 against mono red, yeah. It is a struggle sometimes for mono red to deal with that. Although I have been seeing an uptick in the number of Witchstalker Frenzies being played, which of course I highly recommend that card. So, because yeah, you swing in and then all of a sudden you're just like, oh yeah, 1 mana, 5 damage. You know what I mean? It can be wild. It can be absolutely wild. We might have to trade here, guys. Nah, no blocks. I think we're in trouble regardless, and there's a chance that we just see like more planes off the top next turn, so we're gonna need that mana for the Knight-Errant, or every creature possible for the Knight-Errant, I should say. Monstrous Rage on the Phoenix chick. So even if we did block, they would have put that Monstrous Rage onto the one that we ended up blocking. Mana, bro, slow down. Isn't this turn 3 for them? We're at 6. We're like dead next turn. Yeah. A 1-drop was good though. 1-drops are kind of sort of like free cards to play on turns that you plan on convoking. You know what? You know what I could have done? Okay, first of all, Thalia's good, right? Cathar's good. Oh, I kind of sort of wanted to look at the rest of the cards there, but... Oh yeah, so it's 2 in the air. Oh, Squee wraps it up, doesn't it? Yeah. GG, opponent, GG. Turn 4, easy peasy for mono red. What we could have done, guys, what we could have ended up doing was just play the Initiate out and swung with Adversary for life gain, and we would have been up to 7, and no, we would have had only 1 blocker on the ground. We would have died either way, I think. I think that was a GG's regardless. However, if we would have went first there, I think we would have had a really good chance, right? Just based on how the deck's been playing out so far. Wilds of Eldraine pack, huh? What do we got? What do we got? I just opened my 4th Iron Crag recently. Oh, nice. That's what you like to see. Wild cards for days, dude. Every pack should have wild cards. Oh. Oh, a Kroxa Titan of Death's Hunger. Okay, we don't play older formats, but that's still pretty cool. I must have everything out of Aftermath now. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, Aftermath was really fun. Just recently, I feel like the sets have been really fun. How have you guys been enjoying them? And Standard, too. Standard has been a blast recently, I feel. Although brutal, I must admit that, right? It has been an uphill battle constantly. But I feel like we're seeing a decent variety overall, so you guys will have to let me know. How have you been enjoying Standard in these, like the recent month or so? Here's the deck list again, guys. This was a fun one, because it was good, wasn't it? It seemed pretty good overall, I would say, and I'd say my expectations, it lived up to the deck. I expected a lot from it, and I feel like it did a lot overall. There were definitely, the losses felt like we could have actually won. So that's good, right? Sometimes losses are just landslides for the opponent. Like, oh man, there was absolutely nothing we could have done there, right? But today's losses felt like, oh, there was everything we could have done there. And that really could have gone either way. And maybe it came down to just playing like 1 card in a different order or something, which really speaks volumes to the power level of the cards in the deck in general. I do like my Chaplain of Alms edition. Dude, First Strike Ward 1 is just like no joke. And then when you're buffing it with cards like Vendor and Coppercoat Vanguard and Intrepid Adversary, yeah, First Strike gets out of hand. Thalia gets out of hand, dude. All 4 of these for sure, that legendary, it doesn't matter, man, because guess what? Once the opponent finally spends like 3 mana to remove this, you just play the second one from your hand, and then they finally spend like another 3 mana to remove it, and then you just play the third one. So it doesn't even matter. You could play with 5 of these. I'd have a lot of success probably with that. Only having creatures in here was excellent. Didn't get to see Loran of the Third Path do anything. And on that note too, Gavony Dawnguard didn't do anything today either, did it? Although it did. Was there a match where it sit on the board nice and pretty with a Ward 1? I don't think so. I think it ended up getting taken out anyways. Not really sure. So we have like 4 cards over here that we didn't really get to see do too much. So you could kind of just add whatever the heck you want at that point, right? Although more testing required for sure, because maybe they are little key pieces that we just didn't get to see today, right? And you know, if you add whatever you want, it might mess with the curve too. 24 land seemed pretty essential. Wouldn't go up, wouldn't go down. I don't think, yeah, 23 wouldn't be enough for this build. Not when you're trying to spend extra mana on like Vendor's ability and stuff too. Or even just have open mana for Skrelv so you're not pinging 2 to your face as well, right? The double Seat of the Empire was good. Yep, I wouldn't change those either, because I think that this would have actually come in handy in a few of those matches had we actually seen one of the 2. So, do you like the 3 Knight-Errant? The 3 Adelines were good. So, yeah, if you were going to change anything, if you didn't like the Dawnguards and stuff, or the Loran for that matter, I could see like going up the other 2 Intrepid Adversaries and the other Adeline too. But yeah, it's kind of like I was saying, I do think these are going to do a thing though. I could also see like going up the other 2 Initiates too. Hopeful Initiate, right? Just more 1-drops could be solid. Or a different 1-drop too. One of the 2/1 human 1-drops, or anything from my honorable mentions too. Literally all the cards in the honorable mentions would be pretty good in here. And that's why I kept saying, right? Like in the honorable mentions for a reason. So what is that one in particular? So, yeah, since we didn't get a chance to see Dawnguard or Loran do anything, and they're all 3-drops and there's 4 of them, I could actually see like 4 Peacekeepers too. Because the Vigilance really comes in handy. The fact that you can take a board wipe out of the equation from the opponent's hand, all while you're taxing literally everything else, from all the ward, from the Chaplain to the Vanguard to the Thalia. I could easily see Peacekeeper being the trade out if you have them. But I mean, on that note too, you know, Gavony Dawnguard is pretty budget as well, just being an uncommon. So that could be like, for example, if you don't have 3 Adelines, you only have 2 of them. You could easily go up that 4th Gavony Dawnguard too. Just a really cheap, I would still call it an effective creature, but yeah. Too bad we didn't get to test it out too much today, right? Guys, what would you add or take out? Let me know in the comments. I think it's solid, man. There's definitely something to humans, like, in general, and I'm surprised we haven't seen more Selesnya humans recently, too. Like, we saw Selesnya humans at first, whenever the new set originally came out, and then it kind of, like, fell off for a little bit. I haven't seen Selesnya humans in a while, man. So, yeah, definitely let me know what you would add or take out down in the comments. If you made it this far into the video, for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.